The Pyramid of Cheops is located at a latitude that corresponds to the speed of light. Did the ancient Egyptians know far more than we consider possible today? And what is the story behind the anomalies that have just been discovered in the smallest of the Great Pyramids of Giza? We're going to take a look at the original footage, so make sure to stay tuned until the end. A warm welcome, everyone. Have you ever wondered if the ancient Egyptians might have just known too much? For years, an image has been circulating on the internet claiming that the speed of light is 299,792,458 meters per second and that the latitude of the Cheops pyramid is 29.9792458 degrees north. So the speed of light and the latitude of the Cheops pyramid have the same digits. Coincidence? Go ahead and write in the comments how you would spontaneously explain this. I'm really curious about your theories, and today we'll get to the bottom of this, and then there's also a breaking new discovery. But first, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It doesn't cost anything and it helps me out. If you've already subscribed, giving the video a thumbs up really helps. Let's try to hit 5,000 likes. Thank you so much, everyone. Now, about the speed of light and the pyramids, I admit it does sound astonishing at first. You look at these two numbers and your brain immediately says, wait a minute, that can't be a coincidence. You might really think the pyramids were constructed as a kind of stargate. The speed of light, commonly referred to as the maximum speed c, is not just any arbitrary number, but rather one of the most fundamental constants of our universe. In a vacuum, it is exactly 299,792,458 meters per second, and nothing is faster. Light itself, that is photons, reaches exactly this speed no matter which direction they come from or who measures them. This limit applies not only to light, but to every form of information in the universe. It is, so to speak, the absolute speed limit of reality. How is it possible that the position of the Pyramid of Cheops corresponds to this fundamental constant of nature, this basic code of the universe? As crazy as this coincidence is, there are a few catches. First of all, the ancient Egyptians didn't measure distance in meters at all. The meter as a unit wasn't defined until 1791, a good 4,300 years after the Great Pyramids were built. If the Egyptians had measured the speed of light and then hidden its value somewhere, which in itself is a truly audacious thought, they would have done so in cubits, their unit of length at the time, and the speed of light in cubits is approximately 571,033,253 cubits per second. For this latitude, the pyramid would have to be located somewhere in Western Russia. So if anyone happens to find a secret pyramid near St. Petersburg, feel free to let me know. And it gets even better. Our modern system of specifying locations on Earth by latitude in decimal degrees did not originate in antiquity either. The precision required for this alignment was simply not measurable. It wasn't until the second half of the 20th century that our geodetic surveying of the Earth was sufficient for this. But perhaps the most important question is the number even correct? Well, the Great Pyramid isn't just a point, it's a massive structure. Well, the Great Pyramid isn't a point, it's a massive structure. Depending on which side you measure from, the center, the north edge, or the apex, you get slightly different latitudes. If you choose the apex of the pyramid, the value is 29.9791750. That looks significantly less like the speed of light. In short, you have to tweak the number just a little bit to make it fit, and if you tweak it long enough, eventually any number will fit something. But nonetheless, it is of course an incredible coincidence that you can actually derive the value of the speed of light at a specific point on the Pyramid of Cheops. You have to admit that, incidentally, the speed of light wasn't measured for the first time until 1676 by the Danish astronomer Ole Rømer, who observed the motion of Jupiter's moons and concluded that light must have a finite speed. Before that, people thought that light didn't travel at all, but simply existed. So, for the ancient Egyptians not only to have known the correct value, but also to have hidden it in a system of measurement that wouldn't be invented for another 4,000 years, that wouldn't just be impressive, it would be pretty much impossible. They would have needed a time machine for that too. But we're not going to open that can of worms now. But what is truly fascinating, and what I'm about to show you, is not some internet theory. This is real cutting-edge science. Do you know the Mykerinos Pyramid? It's the smallest of the 3 Great Pyramids of Giza. It is named after the pharaoh Mykerinos, who reigned between 2490 and 2472 BC. With an original height of about 65 meters, it is still a monumental structure, but compared to its gigantic neighbors, the Pyramid of Cheops and the Pyramid of Khafre, it seems almost modest. And perhaps that is precisely why it has long been the stepchild of pyramid research. While the Great Pyramid of Giza is regularly scanned with moon tomography, drones, and all sorts of high-tech gadgets, the Pyramid of Menkaure has mostly stood on the sidelines watching. The Scanned Pyramids Research Network wanted to change that, and what they found in the process is impressive. The eastern part of the Pyramid of Menkaure is clad in granite blocks. The original plan was to clad the entire outer shell with them, but for unknown reasons only the bottom 7 rows remain. Between these granite blocks, there are 2 areas that are strikingly smooth and precisely worked, unusually precise. Just as precise as the blocks surrounding the main entrance on the north side. That was the first clue. Could there be a second entrance there? To find out, the researchers drew on a whole arsenal of non-invasive measurement methods. It sounds a bit cumbersome, but it's the correct approach when examining a 4,500-year-old wonder of the world, and you don't just want to tear down a wall. We're not in the movie The Mummy here, after all.
By the way, it's a really good movie. I should watch it again sometime. Yes, the researchers used ground-penetrating radar, ultrasound tests, and, as the key method, the so-called electrical resistivity tomography.
The principle behind it is elegant. You send weak electrical pulses through the rock and measure how strong the electrical resistance is at various points. Air conducts electricity less well than solid rock, so high resistance indicates that there is something hollow here, and that is exactly what the measuring devices showed. Directly behind the particularly smooth polished granite blocks on the east side, there are 2 distinct anomalies. The researchers simply call them A1 and A2. Anomaly A1 measures approximately 1.5 by 1 meter and begins at a depth of about 1.35 meters. A2 is slightly smaller, about 90 by 70 centimeters, and lies just below the surface. Both appear to be filled with air, in other words, cavities.
Before everyone starts shouting treasure chamber at once, the researchers themselves are being cautious. The measurement methods have a limited penetration depth, so it's still not possible to say how far these cavities extend into the interior of the pyramid. They are anomalies, not certainties.
But the scenario that is emerging here is nonetheless exciting. A second entrance to the Pyramid of Menkaure, an entrance that has been hidden for millennia behind carefully laid granite blocks. Christian Gross, professor of non-destructive testing at the Technical University of Munich, describes it this way: the measurement methods allow for very precise conclusions about the interior of the pyramid without damaging the valuable structure, and the hypothesis of a second entrance is very plausible.
What exactly the researchers will find behind these granite blocks, we still don't know. Perhaps a corridor, perhaps a chamber, or maybe just a geological irregularity.
But the very fact that in 2026 we can still be making new discoveries in a 4,500-year-old structure, a structure visited by millions of people every year, is what's truly fascinating. As a reminder, it was only in 2023 that scientists discovered a previously unknown corridor in the Pyramid of Khufu, also using non-invasive methods. It seems that even after thousands of years, the pyramids are still revealing new secrets to us, and this doesn't require any theories about the speed of light or cosmic alignments.
Reality is much more exciting. I will keep you updated on all further discoveries. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel now, and don't forget to give a thumbs up so we can hit 5,000 likes. And speaking of hidden things,
the next video is about something just as astonishing. Deep beneath Europe lies a lost continent. That's right, an entire continent, and as scientists have now discovered, it is broken through the ground in Europe. The original footage of this secret continent can be found in the video shown at the top right. Be sure to check it out, it's very, very exciting. At the bottom right is another video about science and space. Otherwise, I'd say see you in the next video. Take care, everyone.